that the Liberal Party of Canada, the establishment and all of their egos did not want Ruby Dhalla on that debate stage. They wanted to keep Ruby Dhalla off of the ballot, and they wanted to complete the coronation of Mark Carney. I believe by disqualifying me, that was their road to paving the way for their blue-eyed boy, for Mark Carney, to become the leader of the Liberal Party and Canada's next Prime Minister. For the party to humiliate me by announcing the decision while I was live on air with CBC Power and Politics, which, by the way, is a government-funded entity, to disqualify me on air, I think was not only humiliating to me, but it was a humiliation and an attack on democracy for the millions of people in Canada that believe in free speech, that believe in fairness, and that believe in justice.
Meeting the moment. That's why we're here tonight. Growing up in a middle-class family in Burlington, Ontario, and now having 2 kids of my own, I get what Canadians are going through. Worrying about how to pay your mortgage, keep gas in the tank, or whether you'll be able to retire. I know it hasn't been easy, as we face serious challenges to our economy and to our sovereignty. But these challenges also present us with incredible opportunities to unite our country, defend our economy, and protect our values from the threats we are facing from south of the border and our own little version of Trump here at home. I got into politics to do good things for Canadians. And with a decade of experience, I know how to get that done. I am so proud to be Canadian, especially right now, as Canadians across this country meet the moment. And tonight, each of us on this stage need to meet the moment. Tonight, I am going to raise the tough questions we need to confront as Liberals, have an honest conversation about where we stand on the big issues we face as Canadians, and present a clear plan for the future of this country. If we do not do that, we will lose the next election. Our opponents may wish that Canada is broken, but we know as Liberals, this is a great country. Now is the time for hope. I am the leader we need, and together we can build the Canada we want, and I'm asking you to join me.
A few weeks ago in Saskatoon, I met a 4-year-old girl named Ari. She asked me, "Can you stop Trump from invading Canada?" Ari is a smart girl, and she's asking the right question. I'm running to be leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada because Trump is posing the gravest challenge our country has faced since the Second World War. He's threatening us with economic warfare. That's not new. Last time, he threatened to rip up NAFTA, and he imposed tariffs on our steel and aluminum. I fought back, and I won. This time, Trump's threats are even worse. He wants to make us the 51st state. Trump is unleashed and empowered. As your Prime Minister, I will be too. I have the experience, the plan, and the guts to stand up to Trump, to tell him that Canada is not for sale, and if he hits us, we'll hit him back. We need a leader who understands the seriousness of the challenge and is ready to meet it. A leader who can say to Ari and to everyone across our great country, "I will fight for you. I will fight for Canada. And together, we will win."
I was born in the Northwest Territories, and I grew up in Edmonton. During my career, I've had the honor of serving our country, including as Governor of the Bank of Canada during the financial crisis of 2008. Right now, as my colleagues have said, Canada faces one of the most serious crises in our history. To get through it, we will need to build a strong economy, and that requires big changes. Canadians have been telling me that they want change. They want positive change that builds this country. I can bring that change. I know how to manage crises. I know how to build strong economies. Yes, there are a lot of uncertainties, but during a crisis, it's important to distinguish what you can't control and what we can control. We can't change Donald Trump, but we can control our economic destiny. We are masters in our own home. I have a plan that puts more money back in your pockets, a plan that makes our companies more competitive. A plan that builds a strong economy that works for you. Canadians are ready to stand up for their country. I'm ready to stand with them and bring the right change for Canada.
The opposition Conservatives say Mark Carney is lying about his role in the relocation of a major Canadian company's head office to the United States. Brookfield Asset Management moved its headquarters to New York to expand its opportunities in the U.S. Carney was the chair of that company until he resigned to seek the Liberal leadership. Carney insisted the move was approved after he left the company, but the timeline and the paper trail show that Carney played a key role in the relocation before his jump to politics.
I was chair of Brookfield Asset Management. I ceased to be chair on the 15th, I think, of January, when I announced for leadership. The formal decision of the board, happened after I ceased to be on the board. I do not have a connection with Brookfield Asset Management. No longer have a role, obviously, as I resigned in the middle of January.
But we have company documents that were filed in October that show the board made the decision to move the head office from Toronto to New York in October of last year. And they released a statement to their investors at the time, and it reads pretty definitively, Brookfield Asset Management has now changed its head office to New York, dated October 31st, not in January, as Carney suggested in that clip. That's led the Conservatives to accuse Carney of misleading Canadians about his role in moving this office.
Last night, Mark Carney lied to Canadians. Donald Trump asked companies to move to the United States. And what was the response from Mark Carney? It was to immediately support and to his board unanimously voting to move their headquarters from Canada to New York City, not standing up to Donald Trump, not protecting Canadian interests, Canadian investment, Canadian jobs, not even modeling good behavior.
The Carney campaign has released a statement since the Conservatives were out on that. Pierre Poilievre is scared of running against Mark Carney, and he's desperate to misrepresent Mark's serious experience in business because he has no economic experience whatsoever. Brookfield Asset Management remains one of the largest investors in Canada. It continues to list on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and its parent company, Brookfield Corp, continues to be headquartered in Toronto. You know, Brookfield is a point of pride for Canada. It's a major corporation. All of its various divisions represent about 10% of the Toronto Stock Exchange. So it's a loss for Canadian business and corporate Canada for this office to be moved to New York. They're suggesting that they'll have more success by being stateside. It's a possibility that there are tax implications, that perhaps they will pay American taxes, pay less taxes in this country, but he doesn't have an inside look on it, and Brookfield's not getting back to us, so we can't say definitively one way or the other. But either way, the Conservatives trying to raise the point that Carney's all about the economy, but when he had a chance to move a company, he did it.